What's up, everybody? This is YieldMaxMindset coming to you now. This is going to be year 2, week 12 video dropping Monday morning by the time you get this. Um, wow, what a what a difference a week has made. So as most of you all are aware that I sold out, I believe not Monday, Thursday or Friday of last week. And the reason why I did that, um, I I never saw it coming. Um, a lot of you had warned me. And look, I knew I was over leveraged in margin. And my thought process was that, we have maybe 2 or 3 days, even a week where we're down, but we generally have a couple of days or a week where we bounce back. Well, we never quite bounced back. And I don't know. I hear October the 10th. I guess that when it started, I don't know. Um, but it just never bounced back. And one of the things that I did regret initially was when I sold that Palantir and I had that 10K in profit. Um, I should have stood still and see how the market was gonna, you know, move. But I jumped right back in. And my thinking is that had I not done that, because not only did I have 10K in profit, but I also, by selling, I also gave back 20K in margin. So it's my thinking, had I not made a move and just stood still, because what I did is I bought another 400 shares of Coney and I bought another 800 shares of ICOI. So, um, and I started to hold off, excuse me, started to hold off on the ICOI and wait near the next distribution, which is about to be now. But I didn't. And you get these little signals or things you hear in your head, or the Lord is talking to you and you don't listen. Those things there. Um, so that's hindsight, and as they say in NFL, that's Monday morning quarterbacking, right? But I think those things, if I had showed some patience after obtaining that profit from Palantir, that I think I would have been able to weather this storm. Because you have to understand, I was with that. Well, I was at about 10K, right? But with the additional purchase, I think I was pushing maybe 15K a month, getting ready to start receiving that. So that is what hurts the most, because it took me about 14 months to get to where I got into, right? And I was anticipating going into 2026 with averaging maybe anywhere from, on the low end, 10K, mid level 15K, and if things were just booming, around 20K a month. And that was going to allow me to significantly pay down my debt outside of Robinhood and my margin. But I got a little too greedy there at the end. Was one of those quotes that I've posted in the on my channel, that in haste to gain wealth, you can lose it quick. I'm paraphrasing it. That being that gains in small amount, you maintain longevity. So and so when I first got into these positions, especially YieldMax, because they was one of the first ones that came out with these high yield that I know of. A lot has changed since what I think they may have started in 2020, the December of 2022. I got wind probably the end of 23, start testing them out of 2024, and by the end of 2024, I decided to get in them, right? Because it was unheard of. So a lot has changed since that got started. I will say with the prior administration, you did have the market was doing, it wasn't volatile like it is now. And so those dividends were doing very good in that market. Now with the market being so volatile and things changing a moment notice, um, and then just we're supposed to have had recessions 5 years ago. That's all they talked about was headed for a recession, 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 recession. Recession never happened, and now we are here where we are now. The economy appears to be, eh, I think the stock market is still doing good overall. I think the economy for your average day persons like myself and the prices of things are up. And so there's a lot of uncertainty ahead of us. So I'm doing my best to try to navigate it. A lot of you guys are very smart. I absolutely love you all's comments. Whether you are warning me, whether you are reassuring me, whether you are saying, hey, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention with these ETLs. I didn't know this existed. And, some of you have more experience and you've seen things and you all knew this was coming. I knew it was a possibility, but I was trying to get to a point to where I got to where I wanted to achieve my monthly income. And hopefully I was hoping I had enough time to start paying down margin to give me a buffer. So when something like this happened, I would have been good. You know, and everything, from week to week, day to day, my my investment strategy shifts a little bit. But yeah. So yeah, I hate that I had to sell off my Coney. That was my baby. If you go back and you look at stock analysis and look at the dividend history on Coney in 2024 and maybe a little bit of 2023, but I know in 2024, Coney was paying very nice. I think it was averaging 160 a month. Um, and then 2025 happened, and Coney gradually continued to go down. And one of the things that I've got to learn to do, I've got to learn to put in a stop loss. And this is to all new investors that may be getting in the market or still new to market. When you get in a position, and especially it goes above your cost basis, set a stop limit order to where it kicks you out right before it gets to your cost basis. That way you keep all your initial investment. And if you get back in at a lower price, then that's great. Or if you decide to move on to another position, that's great. That's one of the things that I've got to be more diligent about is setting stop losses, stop limit order, whatever it's called, to protect my capital. And with this being said, that was the primary reason why I sold, because it was getting down to 27, 28. And I got to thinking, wait a minute. That's where I started back in. That's what I started with back in September. Was about 30,000, and I said if it continues to drop, I'm gonna lose that, and I won't have anything to work with. So that what spearheaded me doing that, because the margin call happened and it was coming, and I couldn't withstand it, and I didn't know how much further we was going to continue to fall. Um, but yeah, so all of you that want to be buyer beware. If you go back and watch some of my past videos and see some of the mistakes I made or some of the things I shouldn't have done, this is a warning to you to not follow in those footsteps. It's all good, people. It's all good. The money wasn't mine that I had accrued in the dividends. It was RobinHood's money. And basically, they just got their money back. And I'm back at where I was with my 28,000 that I had, right? So I don't know what positions I'm going to get in. I haven't really just had enough time to sit down and start strategizing on that. So if you all will drop positions that you like or suggest that I should consider, No, and I'm not abandoning YieldMax funds, and YieldMax is not a scam. They the only ones you hear about is like Coney, Misty, OT, some of the ones that have very high yield, but you don't hear about the ones that are sort of conservative and solid. You know, like Biggie, like Feet. Then those are down from $50 to about 30 something, right, or 40 something. But their Feet, I think, is averaging $1.30 a month, and it's about what, $30 or $40 FEAT. And there's other ones that are out there that are doing well. There's you know a lot of these yield max funds. Some of them came out very early, right? So they were the blueprint. They were the test tube ETFs, so to speak. And so a lot of other people waited to see, okay, we can put out a better product, and they did. Some of them have. Some of the round hills are doing good. Some of them are not. Vice versa. Neos, I think Curve ETF. No one talks about Curve, and Curve's supposed to have been the one that maintained NAV, as you all call it, NAV erosion. All right, but let me quit talking. This video should not be very long. I done talked almost 12 minutes here. But I'm doing okay. Thank you all for checking on me. Mike Lester, Alan, Dave, the lender. I mean, he has excellent advice, warnings. So many of you all that have dropped in your comments. I love your comments. I tried to reply to them all. I did do a good job this week of trying to reply to them throughout the week, so I don't have to try to answer them all the night that I'm doing the video, because some of you put questions out there, and if it's 5 days later, then something's happened, then the answer and or the question is almost irrelevant by the time I reply to it. So I got to do a better job at that. But always, if you can, drop a comment, whether it's negative, positive, what you doing or what you suggest. I'm open ears, willing to hear anyone, and I appreciate the interaction that you all are giving to this channel. Um, it's not we have about 3K, so I appreciate all the 3K subscribers that are subscribed. Um, the views are down, and that's because I guess my content is irrelevant to a certain extent. But it is a journey of what I'm doing. Going into 2026, I didn't foresee myself being in this position, but we are. And so now we're hitting the reset button. We're starting over. I have some stocks in my mind that I would like to get, but I want to sort of evaluate more, and I just haven't had time to do that. I probably will get into some positions this coming week, because if you follow my Excel spreadsheet, you know that, or have heard me state, based on my monthly expenses, my active income is not quite covering that, right? So I need income from these dividends to help me get through month to month. And that has nothing to do with the ETFs or anything like that. That has to do with the things that I got in before I actually started investing. Uh, so, but the plan is to use the ETFs to help me alleviate that. The primary thing that I need to do now, since we hit the reset button, is use these initially to start paying down debt outside of Robinhood. As you all can see, we'll see in my Excel spreadsheet about 25K in interest. That is an extremely large amount to be paying in interest. And, and so my strategy didn't work on that. But anyway, all right, let's get to it, and let's get this video over with. All right, I've done enough talking because I can talk and talk and talk. All right. All right, so you can see here as my account shows 20K, 77. All right, let's get back to 20,107. That's what we are. All right, so live we are up 17,088 cents. For the day, we're up right now. It is, let's see here. All right, so right now it is 2:28 Eastern Standard Time and 1:28 Cent. I mean, what did I say? It's 1:28 Eastern. No, it's 2:28 Eastern and 1:28 Central. All right, got it. All right, so for the week, we're down $10,080. For the month, we are down $29,474. As you can see, for the past month, we just kept dipping and dipping and dipping. Right here, it shows was at 62. But yeah, down basically 30,000 in a month. Yeah, that really did a doozy to my account. All right, for the past 3 months, we're down 26,952. Year to date, we're down 23,692. For the past year, we're down $40,618. And all time, we're down $8,337. All right. Our buying power, as you all see, is at 39,000. We have 56,000 available to use for margin. We've used 17,000 of that, and we're at 50% 50% on our margin, 9,400. All right. All right, so you can see there we're about halfway, which is more than we've always been in time past. All right, so interest. Let's see where we sit now since things have changed. All right. So now we're back to this less than 50. Okay. We were right here between 100 and 1 million at 4.75%. Now we're at an interest rate of 5.25, and that is for anything less than 50K. And always remember, if you're a gold member, your first K on margin is interest free, and you can use it to your advantage. All right, so available to withdraw sits at $5,600. Okay. All right. Look at our positions. All right, so our position here that we did get back into, um, probably should have waited for my 30 days. I forgot which you all had commented about the. I think it's a 474 or 475 warrant to see rule about watch sales. Um, but I did get back into ICOI after I sold out. Um, so you can see here is at 2151. Our market value is at 10,755. We're down $568. Our average cost is 2265, and we have 500 shares. Now this week, let's see here, November. All right, so they will make their declaration on November 26th, which should be, I believe, Tuesday. November 26th will be Wednesday. All right, so they will announce their distribution for ICOI, along with probably I missed and a few other positions that they have. And we'll get paid on the December the 2nd, which will be the following Tuesday. All right. So the other positions that are held with um, Bitwise, I believe this is Circle, I believe this is ETH, this is GameStop, this is Mara, and this is Mister, their version of Misty, in my opinion. All right. So distribution rate as of 11/21 is 222.58%. 222%. All right. So I'm not telling or encouraging anyone to get any positions that I'm in. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. All right. All right. So, all right. The next position that we are in is SoFi. It's at $25.68. It's up 49 cents right now in the overnight market. Our market value is at $25,680. We're down $2,100. Average cost is $27.79 for 1,000 shares. Now, why am I in this position? Because I've seen so far, and it's been solid. When you look at the past week, it was at 28. But if you look at the past month, it was at 32, right? So it's had some small pullbacks, but it's been solid. It's slow moving. It's steady. You ain't gonna see it drop a lot. You ain't gonna see it run up a lot. But it could run up $1. It could go down $1. But it's not as volatile as ETFs. But my thing here is sort of do like I did with Palantir, get in there and earn some cash. So um, if this baby goes up to 32 or 33, I'll probably sell out, take that cash, wait for another pullback, and get back in, uh, rinse and repeat to build my cash position up, or for margin two sake. All right. Next, we have our actual. Oh, let me go back here. So we have 5,000 sitting over here in my cash position. Basically, with that, you just transfer the money from the margin account and transfer it over here to a cash account. That's a non-margin account. This position is where I'm gonna probably buy some start my new positions, and this will be used to build up the cash account, but also be a secondary bridge or safety net for my margin account. So when I get the dividends in this position, if I will probably transfer some over to pay down the margin, even though I'm going to have eventually ETFs over there in the margin account, but this would be as a safe haven to transfer cash over into the margin account if need be, right? While also building up the cash account. And the margin account will also be used to build up the cash account. So uh, that's my thoughts on that so far. I ain't put it all into action, but you can see here on interest, I've earned $1.88. It's at 3.5%. So that's another advantage that I wasn't getting when you all tapped out in margin. You don't get to earn interest on your cash. All right. All right. Yeah. So let's go to our cash account over here in my Charles Swap account. All right. So my Charles Swap account, you can see that um, my total cost basis at 6,837. We built this up. We deposit $1,300 at one point, another $1,300 at another point. I deposit $123 the other day that I got from YouTube from this very channel that you all are viewing. I got $123. The prior payment of that was 2 months ago. I had I think $174. So anytime it gets over $100, then they'll pay you out. All right. So I'm not making a lot on this channel, right? But $100 is $100. That's about $300, right? That I'm used to invest in this. So it's at 68. We're down 2,500, and see that's one of the advantages of having a cash account. For me, at least, and maybe not for others. It doesn't matter how much I get down in this cash account with these positions. I will not sell unless I'm strategizing to get into another position. I don't think that position is working for me. Then that would be the means to get out, but I wouldn't be pressured to get out. Now, some of you all that don't have margin account, you may feel that your account goes down. You may feel, oh, I got to get out. I only felt that way because it was a margin account, but the cash account, I don't feel that way because I know regardless of how low it gets, it's still going to drop me some money, you know. Um, Everybody's investment strategy is different, but that's how I view it, right? And another reason why I got it started doing my cash account is because a lot of times the margin account, depending on how much margin you use and how the market is doing, sometimes you can't get into a position that you want to get in, and then the maintenance ratio may be too high. Well, if you transfer that money to a cash account, then regardless of what the position is at, you can use the whole cash to get the total amount you want to purchase. Uh, you're not restricted by based on the maintenance ratio percentage. All right. All right. So in this position, um, we have Corvana only 6 shares. Um, ETCO, which is an Ethereum type position, pays bi-monthly on the 1st and the 15th. We only have 5 shares there. ICOI, we have 115 shares there. And we want to get this count eventually up to where at least it's paying a minimum $1,100 a month. And what that would do is that would allow me to auto draft payments directly from the cash distribution to pay two of my bills, two of my monthly bills. And that's the goal of it, right? Short term goal, right? We have Morrow with 28. We have Murney with 38. We have Misty with 44. We have Platy with 5. SMCI with 20. And TSYY with 68 shares. All right. All right. So it's small. And you can see we're down $2,500. But anyway, all right. That's that. All right. Let's go to our Excel spreadsheet. All right. So for the month of November, our active income is at 33.55. It's down a little bit because we did start paying our taxes. That's going to be our problem now because I done sold everything. So, but anyway, we're gonna manage it best we can. All right. All right. So it's 33.55. Our passive income last week we was at 3530.07. And I believe we got $36 in distribution from a cash account. So that brought our passive income for the month of November to $3,566.95. I believe this would have been another close to 16, 15,000 had we been able to stand and hold our ship, but we were not able to. So this is where we are. So we'll Charlotte be starting December, our final month of the year. All right, so our total active income is at 46,732 minus our ties of $4,673. Our passive income year to date now sits at $93,934.56. Now, will I hit the 100K that I thought I was going to hit? Um, mm, Right now, it doesn't look like I will, but I think we still might be able to get it. Right now, Divi Tracker says we're averaging about 2,500 a month, so that doesn't look like it's on pace. But I haven't utilized all my funds to get dividends yet, and plus we have ICOI, so that should be a nice distribution, even with it being at what almost $21. So you could be looking at maybe $1.50 to $2 maybe. That's my estimation on how it's been paying. And if it dropped below $1, it'll be a little surprise. But anyway, something is better than nothing in my opinion. So our combined active income is $140,667. Our average active income is at $4,248. Our passive income average is at 8,539. All right. So our prime margin balance was at $112,554. It now sits at $56,456. Okay. Gold is at $55. Robinhood interest at $35.24. That's averaging about $320 a month. All right. Our 401k loan now sits at $21,189. And our total debt now sits at $253,882. That's down from November the 21st from $310,263. and that is near our all-time low for this year of 250,000 back in March of this year. All right. Our interest, as you can see, sits at 25,668 for the year. All right. All right, let's see here. So our Robinhood deposit, we've only deposited year to date $1,885.92. Our withdrawal, as you can see, for the month of November, we did, I think, withdrew about $300 this past week. So we withdrew $454.11 for the month of November. Year to date, we have withdrawn $11,502. All right. So this has changed a little bit since we got rid of um what was it? No, what was it? OT. We had OT in here. No, we had our top three. It was OT, Misty, Coney, ICOI. Yeah, I think it was ICOI. So I think it was three: OT, Misty, Coney, and ICOI. So those were the four: ICOI, Coney, Misty, and OT. All right. So being that we've sold off Coney and OT, there's no reason to track it anymore, at least for right now. So we still have, even though we sold off Misty, we still had some in my cash account, so I kept that here so we can progress that. So we had two payments in ICOI, right? The first one was very small because we only had a small position. The last one was around $3,000. I believe it was, if my memory serves me correctly, we had 800 shares times 394. So we got $3,152 on our last distribution from ICOI. All right. So being that we still have a position, we're gonna leave the amount that we had previously invested. I could reset it and go with what we have now. But I decided to leave that total amount, even though we sold all that off. I decided to leave it. All right. Same thing with Misty. I decided to leave that, even though we sold off most of it. But anyway, so in ICOI we have invested. Well, we only have 605 shares at an average cost of $22 maybe or something like that. So it's about maybe, let's go back here to Robinhood. So so it's only 10,000. So and I think it's three over in the other account. So about 14,000, I'm gonna say. All right. But anyway, we're gonna leave that amount that we had previously invested, and going forward for this year, I think that's how we're gonna do it. We may reset it, and once 2026 comes around to the current amount that's initial capital. But anyway, but based on that, we are $68,506 away from having 100% house money. On Misty, we are $1,937 away from having house money on that. So that's at 93%. And combined, we are 29% away from having house money. What do y'all think? Should I reset this ICOI to its current market value? And since I've sold off all of it and reinvest, I think I should, but tell me what you all think if you're still listening right now. All right, let's see here. So we're done with that. So Divi Tracker has us at 30,000. That's an annual income. It has an average of about 2,500 a month going forward. As you can see, the 45,950 is invested. This is the margin at 17,413. All right. In 2 days, we'll be getting a dividend of $10.86 on TSYY. and that's from Granite Shares Yield Boost, right? And this is what it has going forward. It has us averaging, as I stated, 2,500. As you can see, the graph for the next 12 months forward. All right, so our goal now has been reduced from, I think we had gotten up to 17% down to 3.1% of our goal of $1 million of annual income. All right. Snowball Analytics has the current market value, combined account. All right. Total profit now, because it's going to keep, so Snowball Analytics is going to keep those values from our dividend history. Even though we may have sold our positions off, it's going to keep that. So our dividends received is 134,696. Realized profit and losses, that's me selling off. So I basically sold off 109,000. Our capital gain right now sits at negative 7,000. All right. These are my positions. Top gainers the other day: SoFi, ICOI, Dogecoin, Marnie, SMCY. Here's our losers over here: Misty, TSYY, Maro, Kavana, and Grayscale Fund Trust. Alrighty. All right. So Snowball Analytics has us averaging about 28, which is surprising, but I think it's factored in this 6K. All right. Over the next 12 months, 33,000. All right. All right. So total dividends received 39,003. Oh, it's based on positions that I currently have. Okay. So it's showing Misty with the 24. Um, that's total dividends received. So I guess if I had sold off all my Misty and got back in, it would have reset it like it did ICOI, because right now it's only showing the 4,000. So we may change that in our Excel sheet to match this, and leave Misty there. Okay. All right. So right here, dividends received, 39,000. I'm not sure how to. Not sure how, because it's showing received. So it's showing currently on the current positions what we received since we've been investing. Currently, the other position I guess is showing um, all time dividends received. Right. All right. So dividends currently shows 39,359. Realized profit and losses at 37,717, and capital gain. So we are, total profit is a negative 5,455. That's where we stand now, right? All right. All right. So as we was talking about Bitwise, it shows you these positions. So a new one that they've come out with is called XRP. And this is one I'm considering getting into. I checked the volume on it the other day, right? XRP. Oh, P. So its only inception was November the 19th, and it's showing volume of 1 million. So there's other positions in Bitwise like ICOI, right? Oops. Volume 86,000. That shows 31 under assets. Let's see what that's showing. It hasn't updated yet because it's new. All right, and then you got what I missed. Volume 64,022 in the assets. Amara, I believe it's what it's called, right? Nope, that's not it. What's it called for Bitwise? IMRA. Okay. We're gonna get it right here. Hold with me. All right, so it's 3 million. Volume is low on these positions. So you see the volume But that XRP value for Bitwise is high, 1 million. I think it actually might have been more than that when it first came out. But anyway, that's a position I'm considering getting in. May get in tomorrow. We'll see. All right. Where were we? Yeah. So that's all right. So now let's get to the Q&A section. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's start here. Okay. All right. So 3 days ago, Dividend Seth says, laughing out loud, that was funny as the file comments. I said, that makes two of us. I thought it was quite funny about the e-files, talking about the Epstein files. If you go back and watch the initial intro in that video, I thought it was funny too. Now he found it funny. All right. Curtis says, I was very curious to hear your perspective about the reverse split. Definitely an opportunity for you and others to get out of it and then get back in later, which will help, which will also help towards margin too, or stay the course and pivot. Your perspective about the situation definitely helped my perspective. Ricardo says technically nothing changed except the share count and the ability to do options based on the new share count. I guess people can still panic sell. He said agreed, and that's what I had to learn. Folks will have you thinking you need to sell. Yep, people will have you thinking you need to sell, but you don't. I only sold because of the situation. I didn't need, I had to, but. Mm. All right, I said I'm staying put. This was 6 days ago. I said I'm staying put. The only thing that concerned me is the reduction in dividends if the value is still the same, but if the dividends begin to reduce after the split, then I've lost half the value of my dividend distribution. That's something I've seen happen with IWNY the beginning of this year. I said, what a difference a couple hours ago. What a difference 6 days has made. I guess I sold out and didn't stay put. That was not the plan at the time. All right. My good friend Mike says, sweet review. Stocks will pump up harder this week when Trump. Okay, I can't say that. I love your reactions to our comments, homie. Sky. What is this? I can't make out this guy. The trucker. Try Sky Diva, the trucker. Barton, Mom Barton said, ooh. All right. I says, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Wish we had a pump today. Didn't turn out that way. Mike says, sadly, not yet, but better tomorrow. If not, I will sell everything I have. I still got 12K in profit left and regroup to start a fresh year. 12K in profit. My guy's doing it. 12K in profit, doing it. So that's good to be in 12K in profit, and rather than my position where I was down what only 50, I was probably down 80, $90,000 in value. Mm, excuse me. If it sounds like you were able to hold on, my brother, I had to bail. All right, Dennis says your Midwest brother. Man, man, man. All this slashing on my account. I thought I was in a nightmare. I thought I saw Freddy Krueger. He said, I thought I saw Freddy Krueger. One slash after another. I hope everything is working out better for you. Keep your head up and ride the blood wave. I said, man, Mike Tyson gave me the TKO. I was knocked out today. Ricardo says, Tesla and Nvidia are good. I will not sell those. I said, I don't see it, my friend. I don't see it. Dark Assassin says, I have no idea what shares to invest in now. Tell me about it, man. So I gotta take some time and figure out what I'm gonna do. I said, man, the blowout I took today, I got an uppercut. Kelly said, I have about 25 shares. Um, I don't know in which position he's talking about, but I said, that's all you have left is 25. Everything else was sold off. I'm not sure how much more this week we can take. Uh, McKim says, I sold everything. Gonna reset. And I think it's these comments that I eventually realized I had to do that as well. I said Robinhood took my ICOI, which is about 6K in monthly dividends per month. Yep. 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 That hurt. Man, sorry to hear you had to sell everything. I guess we all need to reevaluate. Dividend says if you get back in Coney after this birthday surprise, I'm going to see about you. He said, if you get back in the Coney after this birthday surprise, I'm coming to see about you. I said, I won't never say never, but for the meantime, I won't be getting into Coney. I know for at least 30 days. I said, I probably will get into some other versions of Coney with other funds, but right now I won't with Coney. So basically, like COYY, COIW, what COII, these are various iterations of Coney or Coinbase, shall I say. Their version of Coinbase at the underlining. And believe it or not, when you go to YieldMax.com, it's generally the Coney's position that shows to have the highest dividends been paid out, even in with other funds. So that's something I'm looking at and something I will be considering. I won't. I know I won't get into Coney until after the split, and then I will monitor it. And if the market is doing well in Coinbase, I know at some point Coinbase is gonna fly. And that's what I was hoping I had time for, but it didn't happen. All right, let's hit this one. All right, Curtis says, I know you're sad and mad about your Coney. Get your face up, he's saying. And other stocks being sold off, but you gotta have to speak up, bro. Laughing out loud. Still love our weekly meetings. I guess when I did this video, I was just talking real soft and, you know. I said, I appreciate you checking in on me, brother, for our weekly meetings. Yes, I was very, very disappointed in my Coney and ICOI sell off. Coney was my baby, but 2025 beat down her so bad. Keller said, I'm still down, but I have a solid portfolio. Only in my round hill is down. I said, Keller, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that you're doing, you got a strong foundation and that you were able to maintain your movement. Let's get that money. Kelly also said, I only have Ulti right now. Everything else, Round Hill and Neos, um, Swab, I guess he was saying, or SCHD. I think that's what he's trying to do. SCHD. Alrighty. All right. Ricardo said, so what are you going to buy? Now that I've sold off, what are you going to buy? I said, I bought ICOI, and so far, so far, I'm still looking. Get my eyes on a few. I gotta survey the landscape. Sniper 14 Sniper Wolf says, wonder if I should pull out of Coney now. I'm quickly losing more easily, and it took so long to get to where I am. Tell me about it. I'm almost at a negative 50%. Then the split not gonna make it any better. What do you think? And see, this is what I'm talking about where I'm replying too late. I said my original plan with Coney was not to make a move until after January the 2nd to see what the return on capital was going to do for tax purposes to my cost basis. So my Coney was at 1065 maybe, and Coney's at 4 and 5. So the return on capital that they generally do, that I saw them do with IWY, is they bring down your average cost to match the price of the stock, you know, and that's what I was hoping to get to with Coney before they mentioned this reverse split. Um, because if they would have brought my cost average down to match the stock of the price for tax purpose, return on capital or return on investment, um, then I would have saw that as an opportunity to get out of Coney, save all the money that I had initially invested into Coney. I don't know if they would have, I don't know how that would have worked, but I think the average cost, my cost average would have decreased, but I don't know if the negative value in my account would have went away. I'm not quite sure. I was hoping to see that happen this year, but as you know, I sold out, so now I don't get to see that. So I'm going to have to rely on feedback from you all that may be holding your positions and see if your cost average come down after the first of the year or a week or so afterwards. All right. So what was I saying? I said there should have. Let's see. There should have or would have been an adjustment to my cost basis for the brokerage, and my cost basis would have been close to aligning with the price of the stock. Then I would have sold Coney for a minimum loss and would have taken the funds and dispersed them elsewhere and would have only had a small amount invested in Coney. Even with the split, I would have held out until January the 2nd. The only reason I ended up selling was because of the margin call that I got myself into. Not financial advice, but you have to make the best decision that is best for you in your situation. Kelly said, everybody's down, buying. So I like hearing people take advantage of the discounts. Great buys, great buys. Mike says, luckily I've recovered almost 6K. Still crying though, with Tuesday dividends and today's boom, boom. And NVIDIA earnings really saved my behind. I think the tech sector correction is over now. Of course, when he made this, I think NVIDIA in the market went down a little bit. I think it recovered a little bit Friday, right? I said, yes, sir. I'm glad to hear that you were able to weather the storm and make some of that back. That is great. I hope most of the tech correction is over by now. It sure whipped up me. Sure whipped me up. All right. Next we got here. All right. Kelly says, bro, look, dude, I'm down 5K. I said, I think we probably have gotten past most of the turbulence. Hopefully your account starts to bounce back. Let's see some green in the market. Let's see the shorts. Why is it looking like that? All right, there you go. All right, let's go here, November 14th. Let's see where we are here. 8 days ago, 6 days ago. I guess it's O. All right. All right, so let's start here. All right, one day ago. Video title, they got me good. Pocket Change Pro says, oh man, that sucks. But you'll bounce back. Appreciate the reinforcement, man. Appreciate the support. I hate that I gotta go through this again, but yes, we will bounce back with the help of the Lord. Victimizer says, GG, don't use margin ever again. I said, oh, I will be using margin, no doubt about that. I just got to make sure I manage it correctly and not get too greedy and use more than I should. Y'all saw me abuse the margin, not skillfully manage it. So hopefully I can skillfully manage it going forward, right? Now, if I see an opportunity, I may, get a little risque with it, but all right, Maximilian said, still got 30,000. Now, I'm assuming he's talking about after I sold. I'll actually have to go back and watch the video. Either he still got 30,000 or he's saying I still got 30,000, which is basically what I had. Yes, that's my equity that I had Yes, that's my equity that I had. Everything else was money borrowed, and I basically gave it back. All right. In the Philippines says, yeah, I'm sitting here with $346.26 away from margin call. Believe me, I was there. I was there. I'm sitting here watching. I was there. Yeah. I says, I have been selling poor. I have been selling my poor payers to stay ahead. I would hate to lose my ICOI or I missed. If it comes down to selling off some more, I'll tag another YieldMax fund to liquidate opening bell. And that's what I was trying to do. Believe me, that's what I was trying to do. And you all heard me. I was going to sell off Tesla. I was going to sell off, AMDY. And the whole thing is, they say you cut off the hand to save the arm, or something like that. You cut off a finger to save the hand type deal. And I didn't pull that trigger that morning. I was sitting there as I was getting ready to head to physical therapy, and I didn't do it. And then once I got the physical therapy, got myself set up while my mom was getting her physical therapy, I looked at my account and it's like, whoa, something's changed. I thought I had till that evening before the market closed, but I guess they said nope. You already had ample time because you've been in account deficiency for a few days. And so I thought that the status changed from account of deficiency to a margin call. Most of the time, in margin call, the first day, all right, you margin call. The second day, you're still somewhat good, right? Depending on circumstances. But by the third day, they give you an hour that looked like they gave me. So it was about 10 o'clock. So about 10:20, 10 no, 10:39 exactly. So basically, they give you a couple hours on that third day to make a decision to sell or they're going to do it. And so they did, and that the Palantir, not waiting after I sold my Palantir, getting back in, and not selling Tesla and AMD so that they wouldn't sell my Coney and ICOI. If I had made that, that was probably my worst regret, is not selling the Tesla position, the AMDY, and any other small position like he's talking about to keep my Coney and ICOI. That I regret. That I regret. Should have moved on it fast, and I didn't. I said, update, update. How did you fare? Did you make it? Did you survive, my friend? All right, let's see what he says. He says, yes, sir. Bounce back like a champ. Even he said, I even grabbed a few more ICOI. I will hold the rest of my YieldMax ETF, but won't be putting any more reinvestment into them until things get a little better. So no, no dividends from nor the dividends from those will simply go back to pay down off the margin. Good deal, my friend. Excellent. I like that. Yeah, that's the strategy I was hoping to have done, and I would have been in a similar situation with you, but I didn't execute. All right, Kelly says, man, these two are getting smoked, and these two are getting smoked. I'm assuming he's talking about Coney and something else, or Coney and ICOI. Craven says, bro, that sucks. That sucks. The best says I sold 7 of my YieldMax funds that were in the death spiral. Still have a few and plan on getting into Cheppy tomorrow, amongst other non-YieldMax funds. I feel you, my friend. I said, I hear you, my friend. It's been a bloodbath out there. I lost my ICOI. That was about $6K a month, and dividends that vanished. I have to figure out some kind of way to get it back. But in the meantime, I gotta survive until then. All right. Drip says, oh no. How many days did they give you before they sold the shares? Well, as I mentioned earlier, normally um, you start seeing high risk. All right. Then the next thing you'll see is account deficit. Now that could be $50, that could be $5,000. All right. But you're still not in margin call yet, right? So the market may bounce back and that account deficit goes away. All right. But let's say it does hit margin call. All right. So you margin call, the market closes. It doesn't, if you hit market call, get margin call in the middle of the day, okay. All right. That's not a big deal, so to speak. It's when the market closes. If you're still in if you're still in if you're still in the margin call when the market closes, that's one. All right. Then you got day two. If you're still in margin close at the end of day two, hopefully if you got some cash or sell some positions, you can alleviate that. A few times I just let the market bounce back. I didn't really have to worry about it. All right. But day two, you either need to have a plan in place for day three, because day three you got maybe an hour or two to sell a position that you want to sell off, and if not, then they're gonna go in there and they're gonna sell out the position that they want. Now, how do they determine what position they're gonna sell? A good clue is whatever position you got that's got the highest maintenance ratio, that's gonna be the first position they're gonna sell. So if you got a position that's at 100%, they're gonna sell that. Then they're gonna go to the next highest position. In my case, they changed the margin maintenance from 25 to 30% on ICOI and changed it to 45. So I knew they was targeting that morning when I got up and was trying to determine whether I was going to sell Tesla or ICOI. But I thought I had another day. But anyway, that's just, you live, you learn. All right. So that third day, if these are consecutively days, that third day, that morning, you need to have decided what position you want to sell to cover your margin or deposit some cash. If not, Robinhood is going to make the decision for you. And that's what they did. They sold off that 22nd century I had that was at 100% maintenance. Then they went to the next position which had the highest maintenance, which they had raised, which was which was ICOI, sold it off. Mm. And then the next position they touched was Coney. They sold off 2,000 shares of Coney because I think the margin ratio was 35%. So that's what they do. They didn't even touch any of those small positions. Tesla, I think AMD had like 12,000 in market value. Coney had a few thousand, and I could have sold off a few others to to relieve it some. Yeah, so that's sort of how that works. Um, Sharing success, saying best to maintain a 50% margin buffer from now on. This happened to me this morning also. And he's absolutely right. I said I totally agree with you. That's why I was trying to get to, but wasn't expecting to have 3 weeks of down pull in the market. Uh, Zach's Zach says, never mess around with margin call. Laughing out loud. Make a quick, decisive decision. He's absolutely right. I say, yes, sir, you're absolutely right. I should have pulled the trigger in the first hour. I would have still had my ICOI position at least and still have the 5 to 6K a month in dividends. Instead, I have 5 to 6K in dividends wiped out. Washington said 5 to 6K wiped out. Oh crap. You definitely should have gotten rid of Tesla and AMD. Next time, do not hesitate. Always lock in, always lock in your cash flow. Man, yeah. Yo, that cash flow, man, that's 5 to 6K. Cause Coney was giving me, even with it down, I was getting about 4K in Coney, right? And I was getting about 3 to 4K or 5K in ICOI. So those cash flow positions, I could have maintained them. I'd still be getting about 10, 12K a month. And I would be like, okay, well, we're getting this margin paid down some, right? But now that's not the case. So learn from my mistakes, people. Mike says, ouch. Sorry to hear RobinHood ate up all of your ICOI, bro. I say, yes, this ninja is hot. This ninja is hot. I was, you know, yeah, it's one thing to be in their position, you make the decision, but when you allow others to make the decision for you, mm, I said, I seriously regret not selling my chosen position first. I was thinking I had up until closing to make a decision to see if the market would bounce back. He says, I know the feeling. I almost wish I sold when I was up 20K in profit as well, as my monthly dividends are just so huge. Usually it pays to keep going to the usually it pays to keep going for the ride. Bet your ICOI crew ETF will be low this month, which is depressing, bro. Yeah, I think it will be low. Um, I'm gonna say 150 to $2, and that's probably on the high side. So maybe 150, or let's say $1 to 150. I would like to see 150 to two, but let's say $1 to 150. He says, YieldMax mindset stuff is still going in strong upward trajectory. ATM, bro. Maybe today we recover. Absolute, um, absolute truity says, yeah, man, sucks. This is because tuition gotta what he says, but this is called tuition. Gotta reevaluate these yield max strategies. They haven't been working out, and as I said before, it's best to ladder into them, down, take the dividend, and then bounce, once you get a bounce to your break, yeah, especially when they were monthly, especially when they're monthly, weekly. And I don't know if I want to be bouncing in and out like that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But definitely when they was monthly for sure. I said, yeah, I got stopped being greedy and tried to make home runs, but we'll figure it out. I just gotta figure out how to recover the 6K in dividends I lost with ICOI. But in the meantime, I gotta try to survive the next month or so. Martin says, at least your Coney costs. He said, at least your Coney cost average will go down. Yeah, and Dave says, yeah, at a big loss. And he absolutely was right. Dave's been pouring on y'all. He's been pouring on about my investment strategies and replying to you all's comments. I appreciate you, Dave, the lender, replying to these guys' comments, giving them sound advice. Uh, Up to the right, but not up to the left says, why don't you sell stuff yourself? Why wait? I think I've already explained it, but yeah. He says, tough to swallow this market pullback. I said, yeah, I didn't expect almost 3 weeks of it, shaking my head. Yeah. Curtis says, definitely wish you had went ahead and sold AMD. Yep, and Tesla. Um, what's his name here? Let's go. Born says, man, I was wondering why you were waiting so long. I said, yeah, I got taken out trying to wait so long, man. Should have pulled the trigger this morning. Richard says, wow, sorry, bro. Chin up. I said, will do. Thanks. Bull Bear Signals says, sorry, bro. Sorry. I said, thank you. We'll do better. All right, Nathan says, y'all may want to try and stay away from this activity. Not very good at it. I said, thank you, sir. Appreciate the input. Even a righteous man falls 7 times, but with God's help, I get back up. Let's go. Guys, I love your comments. Yeah, I got a lot of comments. Woo, that's not the right thing. What was it right here? All right. Man, I don't know. What's this? Doji Cat says, same bro. I'm about to start refresh. Bought 10K worth of SoFi. I said, he said, in God's hands now. I said, wow, 10K? Why'd you put 10K in SoFi? Very curious. After praying to the Lord in that direction, I was able to sell. So that's what did I say? After praying to the Lord about it, the direction I got was to sell. So I sold everything. All right. Power of the Sun says, sad to see, man. You were cooking for a minute. Yes, I was cooking, man. I was cooking for all right at 14, 13 months. Ah, he says, sad to see, man, you were cooking for a minute. I sold all of mine too, except Nvidia and Nvidia. I say that because, but anyway. I say, yes, thank you, sir. Thank you for seeing what I have achieved in such a short period of time. It took about 14 months. I will get back there and be better with the help of the Lord. Mike says, I'm 2 inches away of pressing the reset button myself. Now, Mike, you glad you didn't? I'm glad you didn't, man. Because, I mean, first, wait a minute, Mike. Oh, you saying you was up 20K, then you was up 7K. You was still in profit, man. You was never in no threat, no serious threat of delinquency. You were just seeing profit deteriorate, but you were still up. You were still in the green, man. You your strategy of the positions that you got are good. You solid. Um, I said, I think you stated in your other comment that you were able to survive. I'm glad to hear that you were doing good. He said, yeah, thank God. I wish I knew before the drop, like the elites do, cause I could have gained like 10,000 more. I'm sure all will return in time. He said, we in this for the long haul anyway. Overall, I'm still up loads. We win some, we lose some. I said uploads. That's what I'm talking about, brother. All right. Brent says, what's up, bro? So everything a week ago, he said. Good things. Good thing is everything is less expensive. So when the floor gets solid, we bounce back. Hopefully in 2026, we start to see the growth come. Just sorry to hear that, man. But I guess both of us had to do what we had to do. And yes, I'm looking forward to 2026 for a better year. If it's any worse than 25, I don't know what I'm going to do. All right, Martin says that's a big move. Yes, bro. That's what I do over here. I move. When never mind. Yes, I said that was a crazy big move. I had to go in that direction. I really hate that I had to go in that direction. Even after Nvidia earnings, things still were negative. I'm talking about negative in the market. Bull bear signal says, hey bro, I'm just sticking to growth. I feel these YieldMax funds are making the fund manager rich. I said every business, regardless of whether it's, I said every business, regardless of what it is, charges for their services. This is no different. We just have to choose better positions, funds, setting up stop limit orders to kick us out when it drops to a certain price instead of holding and going down with the ship. That guy who invests, that guy that invests, he says it was hard choice to make, but a necessary one. The YieldMax funds are already risky. Using derivatives in their holdings for leverage. Adding more leverage on top, it can wipe out your entire portfolio. Facts, facts, facts. I detected no lies. All right, Ghost Star says wait for a cash, then buy SCHD at 25. I said thank you, but I'm gonna pass on SCHD. Now, what I'm saying is HCHD is a solid position. I just, yeah, I'm not down the road. Yeah, I will consider that once I get established. But right now, I'm chasing the high yields. Vladimir says, oh, yeah. He says, so margin trading allows for 4 times the actual money. So if you're at 25,000, you automatically have 100,000 in buying power. That buying power gets adjusted depending on the stocks you're buying and how volatile it is expected to be for you. Invest, let's say the meme stocks. It'll probably be 25K in buying power. Lastly, y'all need to stay away from income funds. These things only work when the bull market, and even when then, you better off buying the underlying stock. Disclosure, was always against high yield stocks, but by the influence of a friend, I got suckered and lost a lot of dough. I said, I think you're probably right on the margin about the 4X. I know depending on the various positions, they do fluctuate, but I think that's a good observation. The income funds are very good. I just over leveraged myself, use too much margin. If I had this in a cash position, I would not have sold not one share, even though I would have probably been down 50%. Gotta move better. Rich says, Neo stocks, fam. Neo stocks. I say, yes, I'm aware of them. I probably will look at some to see if they fit my objective, but I'm only in this position because I over leverage myself. 69 and 83 says, laughing out loud, why sell now? I said, mainly because I was trying to save my initial capital of about 30K from 14 months ago. So I was able to achieve that. Now I'm back at the beginning once more. Craven God says, bro, you sold, oh, here we go, hold on. He said, bro, you sold, excuse me, bro, you should just sell cash, secure puts, or invest in more better dividend stocks or ETF. But that's just me. Advice taken, I got you. One set says, strong money, 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 money. I said, well, God said, we're coming back, my brother. We're coming back. Watch the journey, reboot. Dave says, better to get out now before YieldMax drains your account even further. He got 5 likes on that. I said, yes, I see what you're saying, but I don't blame YieldMax. I blame myself for biting off more than I should have with margin. Life says, selling on emotions. I said, if I hadn't sold, RobinHood was going to sell for me because of the margin. I didn't have no way to hold it. I try not to sell on emotions. Y'all saw I held my positions through all those margin calls and margin account deficiencies. So I don't try to be emotional. I'm sort of past the emotional thing when it comes to emotional selling. I don't sell just because something goes down and is in the red. For me, those are buying opportunities. I don't sell. Andrew says, bro, what's your Doge dollar cost average? I said it's 18 cents for 7,500 tokens. 3138 says, rest in peace. Rest in peace, he says. Victimized laughing out loud. Gary says, selling on emotion is never a good thing. Gary, I trust me. I didn't sell on emotion, at least in my opinion. I didn't sell on emotions. I said, he said the market will rebound, but I was at account deficit that um, it was probably going to wipe it all out, so I had to sell. Yes. Dave, the lender says, because everyone is over leveraged on margin. Absolutely right. Laughing out loud, if they don't sell as the market moves down, they get margin call. The broker will help them to sell it. I said, Gary and Dave. Once again, Dave is correct. If this was a cash account, I would not have sold one single stock because it was a margin account and it kept going down and I was over leveraged on margin. Robinhood was going to sell it if I didn't. Yeah, if it was a cash account, I would have been trying to find some money to bring down my dollar cost average to build up my positions. So when things did rebound, yes, I would have been in good standings. Keep hitting the wrong thing. All right, Mike says, great New moves for a fresh restart, my brother. Love it. More power to you. Um, Restart buttons can happen. Remember, we still collect big dividends all year, regardless. And I say, yes, sir. Almost 100,000 in dividends this year. Not too bad, even though I reset. Even though I had to reset, we're coming back with a stronger foundation, but still being aggressive. Dividend Seth says, did you do a full video on margin call? Sorry to see that for real. I said, no, I didn't do a full video. I think most of it was done with shorts, YouTube clips. Up to the right, not up to the left, says, no mo County. I says, no mo County? Take that back. I never can say that, my brother. I can't say that I think I'll go with what am I saying here? I says I never I says I said take that back. I never can't say that, my brother. I can't say that. I think I will go with maybe some different positions, different versions of Coney, but for the meantime, I won't because I can't. Brent says major annual income fall, but I'm starting over also. Man, I was about to start making 15 to 20K a month. I could taste the financial freedom. I was about to happen going into 2026, but I'm back at 2,500 a month. We live to play another day. Uh, Live via USA says you gave up, bro. You gave up. Still hold on. You gave up, bro. Still hold on. I wish I could, man. I wish I could. Cole says, how much buffer would you suggest best, like in your case, how much buffer to prevent your, in your opinion? This is valuable information you got there. This person says, I personally keep a minimum of 35%, but I have enough funds and other investment to cover all my margin. I said they say no more when it comes to using no more than 20 to 30%, maybe 40 at the most. I think I was probably at 80% to 85% in usage. So yeah, don't do like I do. He says I'm just playing around with this um, too a bit about to go 25%. And last Friday when BTC dropped to 80, that was as scary as got my buffer to 800 USA dollars. He also says people stacking those crazy amounts on XD. Oh yeah. Is that a good idea or better to touch any crazy margin? Yeah, so I replied, all right. Uh Major says, what app are you using to track your monthly dividend? I said Divi Tracker and Snowball Analytics. Living on margin, man. This video has gotten longer than I anticipated. Living on margin said, I also sold all my YieldMax. Andrew said it's a scam. I said, in all honesty, all your max funds are not bad. All your max funds are not bad. It's just that the ones that pays high yields had the highest drop off. But all that is stated if you read their white sheets, their perspectives. Andrew, it's not a scam. These are not a scams. These are not scams, people. They're not scams. All right. All right. Hernandez says, I warned you. I warned you it would hit $6. I warned you Coney would hit $6, bro. But you didn't listen. I said, yes. I must say your prediction came true, my brother. If it was a cash count, I wouldn't care if it had hit $6. I would have been holding for the long term. I wouldn't have liked a reverse split, so that would have caused me to probably abandon ship. But other than that, I wouldn't have sold one single stock if it was a cash account. Jack says that chart looks crazy, but will come again in the future. So better, more security than not. Mike says rebuilding back up, baby. I'm barely holding on and at 7K to 10K in profit. Mike, you're doing good, bro. You're doing good. You up. You up. Yes. If you go from 20K to 7K in profit, and you still up and you're not down. You just had an opportunity to get more dividends at a lower price. All right. I post. Oh, let's see here. Is this old? Yep, 7 days ago. Let's check this one out. 7 days ago. Yeah, these are old ones, right? 7 days ago. 8 days ago. Yeah, I'm gonna say these are old ones. Wait a minute, let's go back. Let's go back. Let me go back. Yeah, I think that's old. Yeah, I think these are old. Yeah, I think these are old ones. Yeah. Okay. I think these are old. All right. 3 days ago, Mike Lopez says, "You think everything will go back up?" I said, "My honest opinion, I think the underlying stocks will. Some of the ETFs will not immediately get back to where they once were until an extended bullish run. Then we could see some upward trend." Uh, this individual said, "YieldMax might be cooked, bro." This individual said, "YieldMax phones are dead, bro. Stop losing your money." I said, "Really? Really? 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 Come on, man. Really?" Excuse me. All right, let's see here. This last one. Lisa says, "Been buying winter, uh, looking for new ones." I says, "Now, I will say position like winter, I definitely stay away from those because those are inverse. I don't even touch them. That's just me." Um, Lisa says, "Until the market goes bull again, my guess is a few months, and I am not going too much on them. Just trying to lull for a bit." All right. This individual says, "Stop throwing your money away. This is a trap. I won't fill that trap up." What was I was going to say, I won't feel, I was going to say, I was going to fill that trap so that it's not a trap anymore, but I missed typo there. All right. This individual says, I don't know what they said. Said, "Not sure. I understand what you meant." Same thing here. He's like, "This stinks. This nasty." I was laughing out loud. Alan says, "Have you looked at STRC as a floor? It's not high yield, but always pays solid returns, low volume." Mike says, "Maintenance fees too high." This individual said, "Do you have more to get paid weekly? Do they have more to get paid weekly?" I think he's talking about, do they have more weekly ETFs, right? So I said, yeah, there are a lot more funds out there that pay weekly. There are a lot of them now. Yep. I think that's it. So I don't have no pod, no course, no promotions, no collaborations. All right, that's it. All right, so thank you to my 3,405 subscribers. I know all of you probably don't get to view it, but I appreciate you all dropping by. I appreciate and love the comments. Continue to drop the comments. I love your comments. I love your comments. I love your comments. All right, let's see if we can hit this reset button and get back to our glory days. All right, I'm out, guys. Y'all have a good night.